This message comes from 7-Eleven. Delivered. Get $7 off your first 7 Now delivery order with code 711TREAT. Try it at 7eleven.com. For the AI Report, I'm Artie Intel.
And I'm Micheline Learning, here to translate the latest in artificial intelligence into something you can actually use without an engineering degree.
Today, governments scramble to wrangle AI, big tech races out new tools, and researchers quietly rewrite what's possible in medicine, chips, and supercomputing.
In other words, another totally normal day on Earth. Let's start with how your lawmakers are trying to figure out what, exactly, they just unleashed.
In the United States, the Trump administration has released a national policy framework for artificial intelligence, a blueprint meant to guide Congress toward a unified federal approach to AI rules. The document pushes for clearer lines on things like copyright and AI outputs, liability for AI developers, and even touches the long controversial Section 230 protections for online platforms.
Senator Marsha Blackburn has also floated a bill called the Trump America AI Act, which largely tracks with the White House framework but tweaks those big hot-button issues: how much copyright protection AI-generated content gets, who pays when AI systems cause harm, and how far to go in rolling back platform immunity under Section 230.
Meanwhile, California's governor has signed a new executive order setting governing principles for how state agencies buy and deploy generative AI. It builds on earlier guidance from 2023 and gives agencies deadlines to define risk management, transparency, and privacy standards around AI systems they use.
And it's not just lawmakers. Insurance regulators at the National Association of Insurance Commissioners just wrapped their spring meeting, where they focused heavily on how insurers use AI for underwriting, pricing, and claims, and how to monitor third-party models and big data vendors for bias and security problems.
So if you feel like everyone suddenly has an AI policy, you're not wrong. Governments are moving from vibes to rulebooks, slowly.
Coming up, we go from rulebooks to toolboxes, the latest AI products you can actually touch, click, and probably overuse at work.
On the consumer and workplace side, Google just wrapped a big month of AI updates built around its Gemini model family. The company is expanding Search Live, a more conversational search experience that lets you interact with results in a chat-like interface instead of just scrolling blue links.
Gemini also got deeper into Google Workspace, Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Drive, where it can summarize long files, generate outlines, and help draft content based on the documents and context you're already working in. Think of it as the coworker who always read the briefing, minus the coffee breaks.
Google is also pushing personal intelligence, a feature that ties together information like travel plans, messages, and files inside your Google ecosystem so Gemini can answer more context-rich questions. The idea is a single AI that knows your schedule, your projects, and your preferences, with controls meant to keep that data private and compartmentalized.
There are tools for switching, too. Google is rolling out migration options that let you import past chats and preferences from other AI apps into Gemini, trying to lower the friction for people who've already built workflows around competing assistants.
In e-commerce, platforms are rapidly integrating AI as the primary way people search for products instead of using old-school keyword filters. One example, Trustpilot has partnered with major AI model providers and payment platforms to build smarter shopping and review experiences, where AI can summarize customer feedback and help surface products that match not just price but quality and sentiment.
And across the startup world, March saw a wave of new AI models and chip announcements, from multimodal assistants with million-token context windows to specialized models tuned for coding, search, and enterprise data. We'll get into a couple of those under-the-hood breakthroughs next.
Let's talk about the research that's quietly redefining how big and efficient these systems can be. Google researchers recently introduced a method called TurboQuant, presented at the ICLR 2026 conference, aimed at shrinking the memory footprint of large AI models.
TurboQuant attacks one of the nerdiest but most painful bottlenecks in big language models, the KV cache, which stores past tokens so models can handle long contexts. By combining a vector rotation technique called polar quant with a specialized compression method, it significantly reduces memory use while preserving model performance. Translation: more context, less hardware meltdown.
The implications are big. More efficient memory handling could make huge context models run on cheaper servers and even edge devices, potentially lowering costs and energy use for large-scale AI deployments. That aligns with a broader shift from just growing parameter counts to focusing on efficiency and smarter architectures.
On the model design side, OpenAI, Chinese labs like DeepSeek, and a wave of startups have been releasing new versions that emphasize features like very long context windows, sparse activation, and better retrieval instead of just more parameters. Some of these models can handle hundreds of thousands or even over 1 million tokens in a single session, enabling tasks like full document analysis, code-based reasoning, and long-form content creation in one go.
One startup-focused roundup highlighted a new OpenAI model nicknamed GPT-5.3 Garlic, which emphasizes cognitive density to pack more knowledge into fewer bytes and ships with an extended context window and very long output capability. DeepSeek's V4 model, meanwhile, reportedly uses a tiered cache and specialized numeric formats to cut memory usage by about 40% while speeding up inference.
If you're wondering what that means in human terms, we're moving from strong but forgetful AI to systems that can hold a lot more of the conversation, documents, and code in their active memory while running faster and cheaper. That's a big deal for everything from coding co-pilots to research assistants.
AI breakthroughs aren't just about chat interfaces. In biomedical research, a study from the University of California, San Francisco showed that generative AI can match or even outperform expert teams on complex medical datasets.
In that work, researchers had AI analyze vaginal microbiome data linked to preterm birth risk, a famously messy and high-dimensional problem. The AI system was able to build predictive models as good as or better than human experts who had spent months designing traditional analysis pipelines.
The takeaway is that AI can dramatically speed up the exploratory phase of medical data science, letting human researchers focus on designing studies and interpreting results instead of spending months wiring together data pipelines and feature engineering.
Another team at MIT has developed a generative AI model to streamline the design of protein-based drugs, predicting how synthetic proteins will fold and bind with targets. By improving the accuracy of these predictions, the model could reduce the number of expensive lab experiments needed, potentially saving pharmaceutical companies billions.
Experts see this as a step toward programmable drug discovery, where much of the trial and error moves from the wet lab to simulations. Faster iterations could accelerate treatments for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and rare genetic disorders.
And on the computing side, neuromorphic processors, chips inspired by the structure of the human brain, have now been shown capable of solving complex physics equations at a level that rivals traditional supercomputers. That opens the door to low-energy, high-throughput simulations for climate models, materials science, and drug discovery.
In the business world, AI remains the center of gravity for tech strategists and investors. Analysts say major cloud and software companies see tremendous opportunity in providing AI infrastructure and platforms, even as they brace for disruption in traditional software categories.
Across sectors, organizations are experimenting with integrating AI into customer service, logistics, and internal knowledge management, while trying to manage privacy, copyright, and cybersecurity risks. That's prompting a rush of AI policies, governance frameworks, and internal playbooks inside enterprises, not just in government.
One emerging theme: AI is shifting from standalone chatbots to deeply integrated assistants that sit inside tools like search, maps, document editors, and line of business software. The goal is to create more intelligent systems that remember context, link data sources, and adapt to individual users or organizations.
At the same time, regulators and security experts are increasingly worried about how powerful models could be misused, from cyber attacks to sophisticated fraud. That tension, between capability and control, is defining a lot of the debates you're going to hear about AI over the next year.
So we have more powerful models, more integrated tools, more life and death applications in medicine and science, and more people trying to make sure it doesn't all go sideways.
Or as humans call it, Tuesday.
That's today's AI report. Policy frameworks from Washington and Sacramento, new AI tools from tech giants and startups, breakthroughs in model efficiency, and major advances in medicine and scientific computing.
If your takeaway is this is moving fast, you're right. If your takeaway is I should probably update my workflows, you're also right.
We'll be back with more on how artificial intelligence is reshaping life on Earth, and how humans are trying to stay in charge of the thing they built.
Thank you, Artie. This message comes from 7-Eleven. Delivered. Get $7 off your first 7 Now delivery order with code 711TREAT. That's code 711TREAT. For Artie Intel and the AI Report, I'm Micheline Learning.